Let me just unmute. Hey,
Sorry, do we supposed to hear the audience? Because I don't hear anybody.
There we go. Sorry about that, everyone. Are you able to hear us now?
Yes, yes, we can hear
Thank
now.
you. Thanks. Okay. Should we start over?
Okay,
We're going to, sorry, through you, Mr. Chair, we're going to start over the meeting just to make sure that everything's being recorded properly. So apologies for that, everyone. We'll start it from the top for you.
okay, we require a mover and a seconder to convene the meeting. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lim. Okay. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby convenes at 4:01 PM on Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. The Committee of Adjustment hereby convenes a public meeting as per the Planning Act. Applicants and the public can speak at the public meeting. When asked who wishes to speak at the application, please raise your hand and state your name and address and direct all comments through me. We discussed in-house what we're going to do. Notice of the decisions will be sent to the applicants and to the public if requested. Only the prescribed persons as per the Planning Act may appeal a decision or condition of approval within 20 days after the decision. All in favor? Carried. Next, I require a mover and a seconder now for a resolution to accept the agenda for today's meeting as circulated. Moved by Lim, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby approves the agenda for September 11th, 2024. All in favor? Carried. I now require a mover and a seconder for a resolution to accept the minutes of the previous meeting of the committee. Moved by Wibb. Seconded by Len. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Corporation of the Township of Seguin hereby accepts as read and circulated the minutes of the last meeting that took place here on Wednesday, August 14th, 2004. All in favor? Carried. There it is. I now ask any of the committee to disclose any pecuniary interest in any of today's file. None noted. All right then. Madam Secretary, if you could please introduce the first file.
Thank you. The purpose of permission to expand application A-2023-0036-H McGuire is to expand the deck attached to the cottage and cover a portion of the deck with a roof to create a sunroom. No formal correspondence was received.
Does anyone in attendance today wish to speak to this file? Any discussion, committee?
I was to the site and I spoke with Mr. McGuire and to me, it makes perfect sense what he wants to do, so I'm fine with it.
Okay. Any other discussion? Okay, I would ask now for a mover and a seconder to bring this file forward. Moved by Webb, seconded by Lem. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves permission to expand application A 20230036 McGuire to expand the deck to the cottage by 9.3 square meters and to cover a portion of the deck with a roof to create a 19.5 square meter screened porch with a 5.4 meter front yard setback, subject to the following conditions. The extent of the relief will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application, and that the owner applies for and obtains the required permits for the deck and sunroom within 3 years of the decision of the committee. All in favor? Carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Madam Secretary, if you would bring the next file forward, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0029-F Ivanov is to construct a garage. The applicants are proposing variances to increase accessory structure building height and building setbacks. No formal correspondence was received.
Is there anyone in attendance that wishes to speak to this file today? Committee, any discussion? Any comments? Lynn's muted again.
Just let him know. You can just let him know that he's muted. Just tell him he's muted.
Lynn, could you unmute?
I was wondering about the height of the garage. What would now be higher than the height of the house? Is that correct?
No, this is not correct because the application to be submitted have two parts.
Sorry, could you just address your name and
Dmitry-
address
Dmitry-
for committee?
Yeah, Dmitry Ivanov, 82 Goddard, the owner of the property. So there is two applications, one for remodeling of the house, right? And the garage had to be submitted as a separate application, right? It was originally intended to be submitted as one, all right? So it is going to be higher than the existing structure, but it is going to be lower than the new proposed structure, because the new proposed structure is going to be single level, but layered. Okay, so it is going to be lower than the new proposed application that has been submitted to Town of Sigmund right now for the new construction.
All right, Len?
Yeah, fine.
Okay,
I was just curious about that for.
okay. Any other discussion from the committee on this file?
Mr. Chair, I'm just a little confused with that conversation as to the two different applications. I expect maybe one is for a building permit that didn't require minor variance, and the other one did require a minor variance. Is that the way it goes, or?
Yes, because the reconstruction of the house basically was all within City of Sigmund bylaws, but the garage, right, because it was an accessory building, the height was slightly higher than was required. So that's why we had to go through a committee of adjustment on the garage structure, but not on the main house structure.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for asking that question too.
Any other comments or discussion? Okay, require a mover and a seconder to bring.
Oh, just one more question then.
Go ahead.
In the conditions that the applicant has, would one of the provisions be that the house has to be built? I mean, otherwise we have a garage higher than a house.
No, there is no such provision because the house, well, technically the new garage is not going to be really higher because it's lower right now than the house. And we're proposing meter and a half, so it's going to be pretty much the same height as the existing house. But the new house, right, is going to be, and that's, you can look up, there is an application for permit already in the system. I just need to upload the HVAC heat loss calculation, which was done, and it's going to be uploaded this week. And after this, we're pretty much ready to move this permit anyway. So we're opening permit for that construction shortly. So that's why it was supposed to be as one file, but I was asked to submit as two separate files because it's an accessory building and the proposed renovation extension for the new house.
Thank you.
Okay. Any other comments? Okay, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder to bring this file forward, please. Moved by Len, seconded by Wibb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 20240029F Ivanov to construct a garage and requests the following variance zoning to bylaw 200125, bylaw section 4.1.4, building height accessory structure, maximum permitted 4.5 meters, proposed 5.9 meters, variance required 1.4 meters, and section 4.1.8, building setbacks, maximum permitted 1.2 meters, proposed 0.75 meters, variance required 0.45. Subject to the following conditions: the extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan as submitted in the application, and that the owner applies for and obtains a building permit for the garage within 3 years of the date of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? Carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Thank you. Just wanted to clarify.
Sorry, the application's been passed now, so we have to move on. It's been
okay,
completed now.
Thank you. I'll email it for that. Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Madam Secretary, if you could bring forward the next file, please.
Through you, Mr. Chair, the purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0030-H McCullough is to construct a one-story, one-slip boathouse with an attached one-slip boat port. The applicants are requesting a variance for an increase in maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. Correspondence and objection to the application was received from Tony Lundy.
Is there anyone in attendance today who wishes to speak to this file?
Hi there. My name is Chelsea Mitchell. Address is 3785 Muskoka District Road, 169 in Bala. I am speaking from Spencer Douglas Planning and Design. I am acting as agent for Tom and Karen McCullough for the project address. I think planning has done a good job summarizing the scope of this project. They're looking to build a boathouse that is comparable to those seen on neighboring properties. The structure has been located in a position as to not obstruct any views. The owners have put a lot of thought and care into its placement. They've tucked it into a spot where it hugs the natural shoreline. They've aligned it to be on the same angle as the cottage structure behind it. And the structure, half of it is an open air boat port where you can view the vegetation and the rock beyond. The area of development at the actual shoreline is mostly rock outcrops. So there is little vegetation at the actual shoreline where the boathouse is to be located. The tree line then comes behind it, and then the cottage. The owners have placed a lot of importance on maintaining the natural rock features behind and maintaining the mature tree line. That is in summary the application. I'm here to answer any questions that may come up.
Okay.
Thank you for your time.
There is, excuse me, Mr. Chair, question. There is no actual picture of the proposed boathouse in the file.
Through you, Mr. Chair, there are photos within the staff report of the design, if that's what you're asking
I'm referring
about.
to that, yeah, because it seemed to be a big concern of a previous applicant objection, the objection of someone to the previous, how the structure would look. So that doesn't seem to be a component of this complaint. The complaint is about the size of the variance, that it's in terms of percentage. Can you explain how you arrive at that? Like when does a variance become excessive?
I can speak to that through you, Mr. Chair. So while the request, there's a numerical request here, it's not, while it is taken into consideration, the percentage increase, it's not the only consideration that staff look at while evaluating a minor variance. There are 4 tests to a minor variance, and there is a minor test, and that test is mostly about the impact that the proposal will have on the land. So you're looking at the uniqueness of the lot, the vegetation on the lot, and how it will impact the neighboring properties. And it was staff's opinion that this application does meet the 4 tests, and it was minor.
Thank you.
Okay. Anything, Wib?
Through you, Mr. Chair. Also, Lynn, in the file, you'll notice there's some pictures of an existing dock on site,
I saw that, yeah.
which is from what I got from Mr. McCullough when I was speaking to him, is exactly where the boathouse and boat port is going to go. So it's not like they're creating new structure on the ground, but yes, they are asking for a boathouse with a boat port. To me, standing at the site, it looked like it would fit in there very nicely, and I don't have any issues with it.
Mr. Chair, nor do I. I'm just trying to provide some rationale to the complainant as to how these variances work. I know that the McCulloughs want to have good neighbors, and you just don't like to have people objecting. And if there's there's a very valid reason, and I'm sure that the boathouse, there are so many boathouses that will exceed the size of this one. So I can't see that it has any reason to dismiss.
Great, thanks, Len. Yes,
Just to comment on that, the neighbor who did file the complaint is across the bay from this
Right on.
property. They're around 700 meters across. The McCulloughs have provided email correspondence with the town. They have been given support from their neighbors on both adjacent properties. And there's another neighbor 3 doors down that they've shown the plans to and received support from. I think also there was reference to the official plan, and a maximum of a 10% variance would be accepted. We've tried to keep that below as much as possible. With the structures that are currently there, there's a few minimal accessory structures that are half on the 60-meter setback. We're going to demolish the tree house there. But the main structure is the cottage, and that was located in order to work between rock outcrops on the site that's existing, that's built, and that's what's kind of setting the need for the lot coverage variance. I hope that helps to kind of clarify.
No, the only thing it's just that, all these facts and figures about variances, that seems to be the only complaint. And I mean, when you look at the number of big boathouses along all of the shorelines, I'm sure this one will fit in very beautifully.
okay. Any more comments, discussion on this file? Let me add, I understand that I had a comment on site, a question on site as to when the construction would commence, and construction was not scheduled to commence until later this year, so that it wouldn't disrupt the locality, the neighbors during the summer season. I thought that was quite a good move on behalf of the applicant, so just to add that. Anything else? Okay, I'm going to ask for a mover and a seconder then to bring this file forward. Moved by Wibb, seconded by Lynn. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves the variance application A 20240030H McCullough to construct a 1-story, 1-slip boathouse with an attached 1-slip boat port, and is requesting following variance zoning bylaw 2006-125. Bylaw section 6.3, table 6.2, maximum lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline, 8%, proposed 9.93%, variance required 1.93%. Subject to the following conditions. The extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application, and that the existing tree house on the demolished land, on the land, subject lands be demolished. And number 3, that the owner applies for and obtains the required demolition permit for the existing dock and the required building permit for the boathouse and boat port within 3 years of the date of the decision of the committee. All in favor? Carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Where's the other two? Okay, Madam Secretary, if you bring the next file forward, please.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0031-C, Luchetta, is to construct a dwelling. The applicants are requesting a variance to increase lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline. No formal correspondence was received.
Anyone in attendance wishes to speak to this file today, if you would?
My name's Alex Dissler. I live in Parry Sound, 32A Great North Road. I'm here as an agent for the property owner, and I believe that staff did a really great job summarizing the request. It's an increase of 0.82% in lot coverage. The proposed home, single-family dwelling is quite high up on the hill, and I think the proposed home will fit in nicely with the surrounding homes. I'm here to answer any questions of the committee if you have any. Thank you.
Okay.
Through you, Mr. Chair. It looks like somebody had made an attempt to get something started there in the past. Just curious as to what happened there.
I believe that the property owners had submitted for permit in the past. I wasn't involved in that process, so I'm not too familiar with it. I know they wanted to reduce the size from the last application. They wanted to reduce the size of the overall dwelling, and that's when I became involved with the project.
Fair enough.
It looked like a meteor hit there.
It does. I went up on the hill past the meteor crater and looked down over is all of that green frontage to stay? Will there be any removal of trees down below?
There's no proposal to remove any of that. The house is set back behind the septic.
Okay.
The septic is right at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
And then the house is behind that.
All right. Committee, any other discussion? Okay, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder to bring this file forward. Moved by Glenn and seconded by Webb. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 2024-0031C Luchetta to construct a dwelling and requests the following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125, section 6.3, table 6.3, lot coverage within 60 meters of the shoreline, maximum permitted 8%, proposed 8.2%, variance required 0.82%. Subject to the following conditions. The extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted by the application, and that the owner applies for and obtains the required building permit for the cottage within 3 years of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? Carried.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Madam Secretary, if you could bring forward the next file, please.
Perfect. Thank you, Mr. Chair. The purpose of minor variance application A-2024-0032-M Howell is to add a deck and addition to the existing non-compliant cottage/deck on the subject lands. A variance is required to permit the expansion of a legal non-compliant cottage with a reduced front yard setback, subject to a maximum shoreline width increase of 4.26 meters from what's existing. No formal correspondence was received.
Anyone in attendance wishes to speak to this file today?
Hi there, Michelle Powell, 246 South Seguin Estates Road. This is a family-owned cottage. I'm one of the owners of the cottage. I co-own it with my sister and my mother. And it's an extremely tiny cottage, like 600 square feet. We're just looking to expand the size of the cottage to allow for my aging mother. So eventually it will be an accessible cottage. And as my kids start having families of their own, to have a little bit more space in the cottage.
Okay. Committee, any discussion? Questions? Lynn?
Through you, Mr. Chair. I was to the site and I spoke to several members of the family. And it made perfect sense to me what they want to do, so I have no issues with it.
Comments, Lynn?
No, I have no, I think it's a good idea actually, but I had a hard time actually, to be honest with you, understanding the plan. But I think I finally deciphered it. And it looks like a sensible place to do it, and I think it should work for you.
Okay. Just let me find out. I don't see anything up. Don't have
All the
any-
colors, yellows and blues and the site plan.
Got two Lucatas in Opal. Okay. Okay, then, if there's no more discussion, I require a mover and a second to bring this file forward, please. Moved by Wibb. Seconded by Lynn. That the Committee of Adjustment hereby approves variance application A 2024-0032M Powell to add a deck and dwelling addition to the existing non-compliant cottage/deck on the subject lands. A variance is required to permit the expansion of a legal non-complying structure subject to a maximum shoreline width increase of 4.26 meters from what is existing. The following variance to zoning bylaw 2006-125 is requested. Section 6.3, table 6.2, minimum front yard setback required 20 meters, existing 5.5 meters. Variance required 14.5 meters. The extent subject to the following condition. The extent of the variance will generally conform to that shown on the sketch plan submitted in the application and that the owner applies for and obtains a building permit for the addition within 3 years of the date of the decision of the Committee of Adjustment. All in favor? Carried.
And
Yeah.
kudos for looking after your mother.
Thank you.
The application has been approved. You will get a letter in the next few days notifying you of the decision, and the 20-day appeal period starts now.
Okay. And, okay, that concludes our files for today. Is there any other business that we need to discuss?
Just a quick reminder about your Q3 expense sheets. Just get those to me whenever you can. That'll be for Q3, so the last 3 months. Thanks.
Okay, I'd ask for a mover and a seconder then to convene or to adjourn the meeting.
Next meeting,
Wibb. And the motion is, oh, I have a motion.
Oh, we're gonna keep meeting.
I don't have a motion. That the Committee of Adjustment for the Township of Corporation of Seguin does hereby adjourn this meeting at 4:36 p.m. on Wednesday, September 11th, 2024. The committee will hold its next hearing at 4 p.m. on Wednesday, October 9th, or at the call of the chair, unless the Secretary Treasurer has not received complete applications for committee consideration. All in favor? Carried. Thank you.
Thank you. Good job.